Let's bring in North Carolina Representative Mark Harris. He's a member of the House Judiciary and House Agriculture Committee, also a member on the Committee on Education and Workforce. Good to have you with us, Congressman.
Hey, Bianca, thank you for having me today.
You know, here we go again. Hakeem Jeffries is saying that you guys got to be called back into session, but they didn't want to make any deals when TSA agents weren't getting paid. What do you make of his comments? And that Speaker Johnson is the one getting the blame.
Yeah, Bianca, this is just more and more of the Democrat propaganda. They know that the American people know that at the end of the day, they are responsible for this incredible flurry, this is shutdown that we've seen that is just really unacceptable and really damaging and dangerous. When you think about that, here we are in the midst of this international conflict going on there in Iran, and to think that they are moving to leave our homeland completely vulnerable in this situation. I thank God for President Trump, who stepped in, as you'll recall, last week and signed an executive order that is paying everybody in the Department of Homeland Security right now. Because when this goes all the way back to what the Senate did about 10 days ago, that's when we found ourselves in that situation. The House was there in Washington. We stayed over. We voted and passed another funding bill that was going to be a continuing resolution. And they couldn't get Democrats to support it. And yet we passed it out of the House and sent it back to the Senate. And so there have been these games that are being played, and it's just ridiculous.
As you mentioned, it comes down to safety and security, and it's not a game. There is a report coming out, Politico, saying that if Republicans lose the House in the midterm, Congressman Harris, that Speaker Johnson may be out and Jim Jordan could push for a bigger leadership role. We kind of saw that, you know, we've been down this road before. He's made, obviously, a lot of interest and intrigue and being a big, very MAGA guy. What do you make of that? And do you think Speaker Johnson would face some push from Jim Jordan, and would you support it?
I just think these are a lot of political reports. Listen, I have a great deal of respect for Jim Jordan. I have a great deal of respect for Speaker of the House Johnson, who I think is doing an incredible job. He has been a phenomenal leader. And you think of all the times in the last 15 to 20 months that the media tried to say Mike Johnson wasn't going to be able to get it done, and yet he always does come through, and we've managed to do incredible things in this 119th Congress. So I don't know who's getting the idea that somehow we're going to lose the midterms, because I'm still bullish on the work that's being done, the accomplishments that we have, and we're going to get through this situation now on this Department of Homeland Security. We're looking now at doing...
Let's tackle another issue that's coming up, and just to jump in, because, I mean, there's obviously still work to be done. There's the 2027 budget, and it calls for $1.5 trillion to fund the Defense Department. That's an estimated 44% increase over the last year. Will you support this? Congressman Mike Lawler has come out and talked about the war and the funding. What do you make of that number for the budget, and is it a yes for you?
Well, I think it's going to be important for us to continue to move President Trump's agenda. We know that he ran and got elected on peace through strength. I think you're going to see Republicans continue in this midterm to sing that over and over again. We do believe that we are being respected in the world now more than we've ever been before, because President Trump has demonstrated peace through strength. So I think the support's going to be there. It's going to be important that we find pay-fors in a way that we're going to be able to fund it. But I do think it's a priority, because we've got to maintain the strength that the U.S. has now found once again around the world. Our enemies know that President Trump means business when he speaks.
Yes, well, he certainly spoke clearly on Truth Social. Just putting up real quickly in our final moments here, not everyone on the left is supportive of it. You've got Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer criticizing President Trump's Easter Truth, saying that he is, if we put it up, ranting like an unhinged madman on social media. That is coming from Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. Says Happy Easter. Marjorie Taylor Greene, who used to be, of course, on the Republican side here. Tomorrow, in fact, there's an election in Georgia. says that everyone in his administration that claims to be a Christian needs to fall on their knees and beg forgiveness from God. Wow. When you read it, Congressman, what'd you think?
Listen, when I read that post, I remembered and realized that President Trump is the negotiator in chief. He's in the midst of a serious negotiation that right now to bring the situation in Iran back to where it needs to be. And he's doing an incredible job of it. And when you look at that post, I believe, was to the Iranians, and he was making it very clear what was there. I think everybody, with all of this chatter that's going on, you just have to chalk it up for what it is. It's just political chatter. And the reality is that we're in the midst of trying again to get to a point where Iran can continue on as a nation. But if they are not willing to negotiate, if they're not willing to keep open the strength, then the president's made it very clear what the outcome is going to be.
Yeah.
And I'm very anxious to
Congressman
hear his press
Harris,
conference at 1 o'clock.
We're obviously awaiting more. Of course, as the deadline is coming, I'm waiting to hear from President Trump in his own words within the hour. It's good to have you today, sir. Thank you for coming by, and I hope to see you back here soon as we look to DHS being funded.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, sir. A pleasure.